When we think of homelessness, we picture rough sleepers in doorways. But that's just the visible tip of a much larger crisis. Rough sleeping is rising, but most homelessness in Britain is hidden, behind closed doors, in places you'd never expect. Over 354,000 people in England alone have no permanent home. That's 1 in every 160 people. Imagine a city the size of Leicester, every resident homeless. That's the scale. Heartbreakingly, over 161,000 of them are children. Their lives upended through no fault of their own. This is a silent emergency, unfolding in our towns and cities, mostly unnoticed. Where are these people? In temporary accommodation, a term that sounds orderly, but the reality is far from it. It could be a B&B, a hostel, or a short-term flat. It's a life in limbo with no roots, no stability, and constant uncertainty. For thousands, temporary has become a permanent nightmare, lasting months or even years. I wanted to see beyond the statistics and meet the people living this reality. This isn't just about policy or economics. It's about human beings. It's about the emotional toll of losing your home, the one place meant to offer safety. It's about parents trying to create normalcy for their kids in impossible circumstances. Over the next few scenes, we'll travel across the UK to see what this crisis really looks like and hear from those living it every day. The scale is staggering, but the stories are deeply personal. Let's uncover Britain's hidden homelessness together. Our journey begins in London, where 1 in every 47 people is homeless, nearly 200,000 in total. In Newham, 55 out of every 1,000 households are stuck in temporary accommodation. Councils spend £90 million a month just to keep people housed. London's wealth and poverty exist side by side, but this isn't just a London problem. In Slough, the rate is even higher, 1 in 51. In Luton, it's 1 in 57. These aren't sprawling cities, but the housing pressure is just as intense. Families are being priced out, unable to keep up with soaring rents, and left with nowhere to go. Local support systems are stretched to breaking point. Heading north, Manchester has 1 in 61 people homeless. Birmingham, 1 in 62. Despite new developments, affordable housing is vanishing, and many feel left behind. The crisis is just as real in smaller towns. In Hastings, 1 in 64 people is homeless, hidden behind the town's charming facade. This isn't just an urban issue, it's national, reaching every corner of the country. From bustling cities to quiet coastal towns, the story is the same. A chronic lack of affordable homes is pushing more people into hidden homelessness. The crisis is everywhere, but often out of sight. It's not just about rough sleeping. It's about families living precariously, unseen. The numbers are shocking, but the human cost is even greater. This is Britain's housing emergency, and it's closer than you think. What does it mean to live in temporary accommodation? It means constant uncertainty and disruption. I met a mother in Manchester, moved 4 times in 2 years, each move uprooting her children's lives. Friendships lost, routines shattered, stability gone. Families are often placed far from support networks, jobs and schools. This isn't a choice, it's the result of a broken system. The main cause? The end of private tenancies, often through no-fault evictions. With rents soaring and council housing scarce, there's nowhere else to go. Councils are legally required to house people, but options are so limited that temporary accommodation becomes a long-term trap. The number of people stuck in this limbo has jumped 17% in just 1 year. People aren't moving on because permanent homes simply don't exist. So they wait, in cramped, unsuitable spaces, lives on hold. Temporary accommodation is no longer a stopgap, it's a crisis in itself. The system is failing those it's meant to protect. For hundreds of thousands, temporary has become indefinite. Temporary accommodation is often grim, cramped, unsuitable, and sometimes unsafe. Many families end up in B&Bs, despite laws meant to limit this. In 2024, over 6,000 households were living in BBBs, a number that's quadrupled in a decade. Imagine a family living in a single room, no space, no privacy, sharing bathrooms with strangers. Cooking isn't allowed, so families rely on takeaways and microwave meals. Parents feel they're failing their children, unable to provide even basic comforts. Conditions can be dire. Damp, mold, pests, and poor maintenance are common. Health suffers, especially for children with asthma or other conditions. Safety is a concern, with families sharing facilities with strangers, sometimes in unsafe environments. The stress and anxiety are constant. Daily life becomes a struggle. It's not a home, it's survival. Dignity is stripped away, and children know this isn't normal. The instability and shame are ever present. These rooms may offer shelter, but not a life. Across the country, thousands endure this hidden suffering every day. For over 161,000 children, hidden homelessness is devastating. Their world shrinks to a single crowded room, no space to play, no quiet to study. Development suffers. Health visitors see delays in toddlers who've spent months in B&Bs. Education is disrupted. Long commutes, frequent school changes, lost friendships. Concentration is impossible after sleepless nights in cramped, noisy rooms. Children feel the stress, shame, and anxiety acutely. They can't invite friends over and worry constantly about the future. This instability leads to behavioral and mental health issues that can last a lifetime. Childhood should be about security and discovery, not fear and waiting. We're failing a generation, robbing them of the foundations for a healthy life. Every day in unsuitable accommodation is a day of childhood lost. These aren't just numbers, they're real kids, with hopes and dreams, held back by a lack of a safe home. How did we get here? It's a perfect storm. Soaring private rents outpace wages, making homes unaffordable for many. Weak renter protections like no-fault evictions create instability, now the leading cause of homelessness. The chronic shortage of social housing means there's nowhere for families to go when they lose a private tenancy. Decades of underbuilding and selling off council homes have dismantled the safety net. Councils are forced to use expensive, unsuitable temporary accommodation. This crisis is the result of policy failures and a housing market that puts profit before people. This isn't just a British problem, it's global. In the US, homelessness surged to nearly 772,000 in 2024, an 18% rise in a year. The causes are similar: rising rents, lack of affordable housing, and weak protections. In the UK, homelessness is mostly hidden in temporary accommodation. In the US, it's more visible, with encampments in major cities. The UK's legal duty to house families means fewer people on the streets, but more in B&Bs and hostels. The US shows that focused government action can work. Veteran homelessness has halved since 2010 thanks to targeted support. The lesson: homelessness is not inevitable. It can be solved with the right approach. Amid the crisis, there's hope, because we know what works. The Housing First approach, proven in the US for veterans, is simple. Give people a home first, then support them. In the UK, some councils and charities are piloting this with success. I met a man in Manchester. After years on the streets, a flat and a support worker changed his life. Focused, person-centered support is more humane and more effective, breaking the cycle of crisis. But these projects are small and underfunded. We need national commitment, build more social housing, end no-fault evictions, and scale up Housing First. Charities like Shelter and Crisis are leading the way, but they need government action. The solutions exist. We just need the will to act. Homelessness is solvable if we choose to solve it. After meeting so many affected by this crisis, one thing is clear: this is about people, not statistics. It's about parents trying to stay strong, children dreaming of a room of their own, and workers who still can't afford a home. These are our neighbors, colleagues, and friends. The crisis is hidden, but it's everywhere. We can't look away. How we treat the most vulnerable defines us as a society. This crisis damages health, education, and futures. It strains our public services and deepens social divides. Allowing this to continue is a choice. We can demand that a safe, secure home is a right for everyone, not a privilege for a few. Support frontline charities, talk about the issue, and demand bold solutions. More social housing, real renter protections, and a Housing First approach. This isn't someone else's problem, it's ours. The solutions are clear. What's needed now is the will to act. It's time we all started to care.